feel free to introduce yourself. Where you're from, how old you are, and your name or what you like to go by.
Cool. I'm Svani Quintanilla. I'm 30 years old. I'm from Corpus Christi, Texas, and you may have heard of me by the name Principe Q. I'm a DJ, producer, chef, all around, just Renaissance man.
Alrighty, so you got everything going on there. I love it, man. Versatile.
Yeah, for sure.
But how did you get into that field? What was your interest?
How did I get into it? It was a point in my life. I was graduating high school, trying to figure out, okay, what's next? Like, what are you gonna do with your life? And it was around that time one of my homies, he set up a studio at my mom's house. So I would go hang out, and it'd be like, oh, let me see what's up. Let me see if I can do this. Like, and he started to show me how to make beats, and I liked doing it. And I started to get popular. People started to know who I am, and now I'm here. It's been like almost 10 years or something that I've been doing just music.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And what genre did you start with? Producing wise, and did you stick with that genre, or did you go through multiple kind of phases of a different sound? Or tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I first started just doing mostly hip hop beats. I would take samples and chop them up and just make like old school boom bap style beats. Kanye was real popular at the time when I was learning how to make beats, so I was just trying to emulate what he was doing. So it went from making hip hop beats with like soul samples and stuff to me taking like cumbia samples and putting hip hop drums on them and stuff. So it evolved from me. I guess I wanted to go towards my roots more and discover more about cumbia music, because I knew very little, and so I started to make beats with cumbia music, and that's how I discovered the whole world of cumbia. Like, there's cumbia all over, So yeah, so that's kind of how my style evolved to where I'm at now. Now I make cumbia music, I make hip hop music, but I kind of like mesh them together also and make this new sound that's like kind of exclusive to Texas, I guess. It's a sound that if you hear it, you're like, oh damn, okay, I think that's a Texas sound. Like, you can just tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I myself, I'm a huge fan of cumbia rebajadas. Have you done?
Oh yeah.
Like kind of like the Monterrey sound, especially there. You're so close between like Monterrey and Texas, especially like San Antonio, Corpus Christi. So seeing that, it's like, I love how each city has its specific sound. You could hear something, you could be like, okay, this is from there.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And it's funny, music really does make a difference, and it's such a huge impact that I think as people forget often, right? Because the way that Charlie and I became friends was literally through music. He knew who J Balvin, Bad Bunny, and just like all these upcoming artists were, and he was like, yeah, I listened to them. And I was like, what is this white boy from New York? Like, how does he even know this, bro? And we were dancing cumbia the other day when he was out here, and it's just crazy to think, music really brings people together.
It brings people together no matter where you're from, like whatever culture the music is from, you can just share it, and it just brings people together.
Yeah, you don't even like really got to know what they're saying. You feel the music, like you feel their energy from the instrument, like from the instrumentation, but also in their voice. Like exactly. you don't even have to know what they're saying. You feel that.
Especially the cumbia, you could really feel it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, that's my mom's favorite genre, actually. So it's you gotta send me your playlist, so I can play it for my mom. She can, make something fiesta in the morning on Saturdays. That's what's up.
Oh damn. Yeah. I'll send you something.
What would you say that? How did your environment shape your interest in hip hop and cumbia?
I guess like I said before, it's like being in Texas is a unique place because we're so close to the border, and we're also, it's America, so we are in a unique pocket where we have music and food and just like everything kind of specific to this region. And I don't know, I feel lucky to have grown up here and absorb that and make the music that I'm making, because I feel like if I grew up in California or something, my music would sound completely different. Or if I grew up in New York or something, it would be different. So I don't know. I feel lucky that I'm in Texas and I'm in this unique pocket that we have right here. Just right, like the border I think is like 3 or 4 hours away from me. You know, so it's like I'm right here, right near it. So I get the best of both worlds. So
I was gonna ask how, because I originally came from Guatemala, then to California, and then I came to New York. What would you say is the best about Texas? Because I really only know New York. I grew up here for the majority of my life. So explain Texas to me.
Explain Texas. It's hot all the time. It'll rain for like 1 week out of the year. The Mexican food here, or it's not even Mexican food, it's Tex-Mex. And Tex-Mex is like, it's a really good food. Like people come from out of state and they trip out about it because it's different. It's Mexican food, but it's different Mexican food. But it's super good. What else can I say about Texas? I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's right now in a phase where it's kind of growing more too. Like a lot more people are moving to Texas, which in turn brings more culture here. And I don't know. I think it's in the past couple of years, Texas has changed a lot. And I hope that these changes are going more towards like positive changes also.
For sure. I noticed that there's a lot of people, so to say, fleeing California over to Texas.
Yeah.
Most of the Los Angeles people go somewhere like Austin, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And now, I know it's more of kind of like a Houston subculture, but have you dabbled in any chopped and screwed? That's like personally one of my favorites as well.
Oh yeah, I mean my whole like genre Screwmbia is like based off of chopped and screwed music. Mm-hmm. I took that same concept and applied it to cumbia. So like in Monterrey they do rebajadas, but they just slow it down. Like I'm actually like chopping the cumbia sample like on my beat. So it's chopped and screwed cumbia. So I call it Screwmbia. But yeah, I chopped and screwed sound is like it's amazing because it came from Texas and it's such a small like little subgenre, but it's influenced like almost like all of hip hop, you know, like that sound is relevant through every region, you know.
Exactly. You even hear it all the way to like the influence of someone like A$AP Rocky and his tunes. When you hear that intro with his deepened voice, it's like I would hear that when I was younger, before I even knew, like when I was like 12, 13, before I even knew chopped and screwed. So when I found out about the history of chopped and screwed in Texas and all the culture that comes from there and how it even, you know, unites between borders, that's just something that's like so unique about the region and the songs.
For sure.
You know, it's funny. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I feel a little left out.
You're good.
But,
you have to go.
Trust me. Once
you have to go
playlist and you hear it, you'll be like,
yeah. It's fire.
Yeah,
it's heat.
So I have to send you some Screwmbia, some cumbia, and some chopped and screwed on one playlist. I'll send you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it. I'm gonna, you know, take the weekend to myself to listen to it. Like seriously, man. Because I had no idea that existed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's amazing. And we'll drop that link wherever. Get people looking at the playlist.
Dope.
Do you have any other family members that do music that you collaborate with, or is it just you?
No, I don't. I mean, my dad produces music and he writes still, but we've tried to work together, but it doesn't always end up well because we're just in two complete different worlds. And I mean, it works. It always works, but it really like pushes us to our limits, I guess you could say, because it's hard for, I guess, for an older person sometimes to hear a younger person's opinion. I guess and that kind of causes like static a little bit, you know. So, yeah, but I mean, we've worked together though. So I mean, he's really the only one that I've worked with.
Was he one of like the influences that made you also really relate to music and have that motivation to start producing and such?
Oh yeah, for sure. So my dad is A.B. Quintanilla. I don't know if you know the name, or
Yes.
But so when I was in elementary school and he was making the Cumbia Kings, and they would practice in the living room every day. So every day from after school, I would come home and I would just hear I would just see a band playing in the living room, and I would just hear cumbia all the time. He had a studio at the house, so there was always people like coming through and working on music. I would sneak in and hang out, so I was always around music. So I guess it was just in me. And when it came time to start doing my own music, I was already comfortable with it and everything. Like I would spend my summers on the road with him and the tour bus and stuff. So like now when I go run and play shows, if I have to be up for like 24 hours or something, it's like, all right, bet, let's do it. Like it's a breeze. Yeah. I guess I was just like trained for it my whole life, and now I'm like it's easy for me.
That's incredible.
Would you say that like representation really made a difference as well?
Yeah, you can say that. I started in EDM music, so I guess like
really?
yeah, and it was kind of like I didn't see any like really like brown people doing EDM music, and I was like, no, there has to be some people out there,
Somebody.
Yeah, and then sure enough, like as I started to do it more, I started to make more friends. And now it's kind of turning into where it's like we're not doing EDM music, but we're still all making music, and it's cool that we're able to survive in the music industry still, and not do like the norm that everybody like wants, I guess, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. You don't really see like people of color much in any type of like platform or industry as much. So it's nice knowing that you were really into EDM. When I was in high school, a lot of people, I don't know, I grew up in a really like predominantly white high school, and when EDM first started blowing up and stuff, they were like, oh, why do you like it, this and that. And then on top of that, I was the only like Latina that liked EDM, so I was like, it's nice to hear that other Latinos like EDM as well.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up on like Skrillex and Dead Mouse.
Classics.
Those are classics. I remember those.
Yeah, like Dylan Francis, like all of them.
Yeah.
Diplo, of course.
Oh, Diplo, yes.
The whole iPod was filled with that.
What made you come up with your name?
Principe Q. My dad, the Cumbia King, he calls himself the King of Cumbia. So it's only fitting that I be the prince. And at first I was spelling it Principe Q, like Q, like I was spelling out the word, the letter Q, but like how you would say it. So it was kind of like Principe Cu, like the beginning of Cumbia. So you kind of like put that together. But then one day my dad made a point to me. He's like, hey, the letter Q, when you write it, if you read it in English and Spanish, it's the same. Like the letter, it doesn't make a difference. And I was like, damn, I never thought of that. So I could just use Q, and it can be Principe Q or Principe Q, like whichever, if you're saying it in English or Spanish. So that's my name evolved to that, and now that's where I am, Principe Q.
Your name is literally bilingual. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally bilingual.
Now, you've been producing for 10 years. Like, what would your recommendation be for young producers? Because, I have so many friends who just know so many people who are starting out producing, and it's hard. Mm-hmm. Like, I've lived with people who are producers, and I see how much work goes into it, like how much time that you just sit in your room, like playing loops and going through class. Like, what's your recommendation for like the youngins who don't really know where to start, don't know what program to start on, like
equipment?
Yeah.
Get a laptop. Like that's number one. Whether it's old or new, because even if it's old, you can get like cracked software out there. Like I guess, because even me, like some of my software is cracked and shit. I'm not afraid to say it. Like, get it how you can, make it happen how you can. Don't be ashamed. Like, just do. If you're like passionate about it, figure out a way and make it happen. Also, don't get discouraged. Like, it does get hard, but don't get discouraged. Another thing is another thing that helped me is like find friends who are also like producers or like rappers or singers, because it's good to have that energy around when you're creating, it helps you feel like you're like in those hard times, like you're not alone. Like there's other people going through what you're going through also, and also it makes the music better. Like don't be afraid to collaborate. I was always for years like afraid to let somebody else touch my music, but once I let other people touch my music, it got way better, you know. So it's like don't be afraid to collaborate. Man, I have so much advice I can give, you know, like a lot I could say.
What is one? Okay, so because you've been doing this for a really long time too, and such, right? What is a number one mistake these youngins should avoid?
Number one mistake. I guess the number one mistake to avoid is like letting somebody else control what you're doing. Like if there's no need for like a manager type figure or like something like that, like if you're able to handle stuff on your own, do that, because sometimes that type of stuff can get a little like
tricky.
Tricky, shaky, you know, and like it's better to I mean, of course everybody goes through experiences and learns on their own, but I don't know, I guess be wary, I guess. Is that the correct word? Like
be cautious.
Be cautious.
Yeah. Be cautious. Yeah.
That's good advice, because, you know, working, especially being young in a creative industry, you know, just gotta be cautious.
Because there's people out there that are waiting to just take advantage of some young, like, fresh kid that doesn't know much about anything and, like, glamorize something to them, and then they end up a slave to the music industry or something, you know? Like,
exactly.
Just be cautious.
Exactly. Now, back to the Screwmbia. Do you have any new Screwmbia mixtapes you're working on that we can look forward to?
Not really anything like all Screwmbia. I have a couple of remixes that are coming out, I think, that are Screwmbia. And they'll be on my Spotify page and my Instagram. There's a link to my Spotify and stuff. Also, I have a vinyl record coming out. We're supposed to get it like any day now. It's supposed to land. Look, I got the print right here. So 45. It's two sides. This is Screwmbia though. There's Screwmbia songs on both sides of it. It's called Flores Verdes. It's going to be on a green record. I'm really excited about it. It's available for pre-order right now, and then once the records get here, we're supposed to do like a little tour through Texas to promote the EP.
I might have to pull up to Texas then.
Hey, yeah, come through.
I love San Antonio, those Tex-Mex tacos.
Oh yeah. San Antonio's a vibe too.
Yeah.
Okay, is there, because you know how there's because you were talking about Texas and there being the vibe. You know how there's like music festivals and stuff like that. What type of music festival do you recommend for people to just check out in Texas?
In Texas,
like big, you know.
I guess the quintessential Texas festival would be Austin City Limits Festival. I think it's the one that's been going on the longest. It's the biggest one here in Texas. They always have like 2 years ago or something, they had Paul McCartney as like one of the headliners. This year they're gonna have George Strait as one of the headliners, which he's like retired and stuff. So it's like he's coming out of retirement to play ACL. But ACL is one of the biggest ones. That one's like quintessential Texas. My favorite one, I only went to the first one, but my favorite one is Astroworld Festival, just because I love Travis Scott and like his whole energy and everything. I went to the first one and it was really, really dope. He really understands like what the kids want and like how to keep the young kids, like young people, entertained. And it was a really well put together festival. All the performances were dope. But yeah, I think those are like the only two festivals I think that are like worth talking about here in Texas. There's a bunch, like there's little like Tejano festivals and stuff, but I mean those are like for like tias and tios and stuff like that.
All right, important question here for you. Do you like micheladas?
Oh yeah, 100%. It took me how many years? It took me maybe like 5 years to finally be like, all right, I like micheladas. Because when I first started drinking, I was like, I couldn't do the tomatoey taste. But now, like, I love micheladas. I'll drink a michelada any time of day.
Oh yeah.
Agreed. That's like one of my personal favorite drinks. I just had to ask because like it's too much time, yo.
Get some micheladas after this. Well, it's been great learning about just like your artistry and especially that influence of Texas and the Screwmbia. Like I'm really looking forward to listening to it. It's great. It's great to hear all that and just I think this will be a cool series. Just talking to a whole different artists, hearing like people from all over the country or all over the world, sharing a little piece of what they're up to.
Well, we didn't want to keep you on for too long, and we didn't want the interview to be, like 5 hours long.
Yeah,
some of it go long, bro.
For sure.
So that's a good ass time. Yeah, 20 minutes.
Well, do you have any questions for us? We can totally answer any questions if you have for us.
So what is this series that y'all got going on? Like, explain a little bit more, like, about what y'all are doing.
So we don't even have a name for the series yet, but it's
okay.
Which is crazy because you're the first person we're interviewing, but it's pretty much just like it could be kind of like a podcast style, but pretty much just Zoom, like having conversations with artists, whether they're producers, whether they're rappers,
filmmakers,
whatever they do, just having like quick conversations, just, hey, who are you? What do you do? And yeah.
The idea actually originated from, I don't know, because I'm Guatemalan, right? So we don't really have that much representation on any social media platform or any platform. And it's always really nice to see someone that you aspire to be or that kind of represents you. So, and it happened randomly. And I was like, yo, let's do this. Let's see if people would be down to be interviewed. If they have any suggestions or advice or how they managed to do what they're doing now, what motivated them. Because all it takes is that one little spark for someone to be like, yo, I could do that. Like, it is so possible, bro.
For sure. Damn, that's dope.
Yeah, and I think I love listening to podcasts and I love hearing what other artists have to say, and I also love hearing new genres of music. Like, I know there's a lot of people who have never heard Screwmbia to like that whole style, so just being able to like hear, have a place where people could just share what they're up to is so important and inspire other people.
Yeah, that's dope. I love the whole like inspirational aspect of this that y'all are going for. Cause I think that's most important also. Cause like I'm sure cause how old are y'all? I'm 30, so we're probably around the same age.
22.
How old?
I'm 22.
Oh, damn.
I'm young. Yeah, but I got this big ass beard, so like people be thinking.
I thought y'all were my age.
Yeah.
Charlie Dead looks like he's like older too, bro. Cause
Bro, people think I'm like 30 or 20, anywhere from like 25 to 30 I get. So yeah. But when I lose the beard and
No, but what I was saying is like growing up there wasn't very many outlets for like people like us to go get inspiration or like hear stories or stuff like that. So it's dope. It's real dope.
That's right. Charlie is 22 and killing the game. Let me tell you that. This man is the most hardworking person I've met in my life. Super like outgoing and just open-minded. He gets it, bro. Like he gets it. Like I took him to Guatemala, me and my grandparents and everything. Yo, my grandma was like, "That's your boyfriend?" I was like, "No, grandma, he's just my homie." And so like we did a short documentary together, and that who would have known? Like he's really like a really awesome person. And 22, because I'm only 23, turning 24 this year. Yeah. So we're
I'm an old man.
No.
Yeah. Once you pass a certain age, that's just all equalizes to a certain extent.
Yeah.
At least in the creative industry, like most of the people I work with are much older than me, but like we never even think about it. Like it's just like, yo, we just be on similar.
I think we're all just like a solid age of 25. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it kind of stops.
Forever, 25
If you're an artist, you stop aging at 25. You just stay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
For me personally, I want kids and just like the youth to understand that we don't have to continue to do, being a landscaper or working in construction, or not that there's anything wrong with that, because those are totally noble jobs. My dad's a farm worker. My mom cleans houses. And it's like, even though I come from that background, you can do literally anything you set your mind to. That's like the inspiration that I personally want to give to everybody, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, you said you're also a chef, you said?
Yeah, I'm a chef. I've been cooking the same amount of time I've been doing music. It kind of like, they fell into my life at the same time. I was doing music because that's what I wanted to do, and then I was cooking at night because I needed gas money to get to the studio and shit like that. So I just happened. I fell in love with cooking, and I still do it. Now I just do it for fun, like pretty much, just on the side sometimes, like just to get a vibe going.
Would you have your own like restaurant or like, you know, food truck or anything like that?
I manage a food truck over here, and I manage a little like snack shop. They make like fruit cups and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that's the dream one day to own a restaurant, to open a restaurant for sure. I would love to I just want to open a taco shop, that's it, and just show people over here, because I'm in a small little town and it's predominantly white, and I would love nothing more than to like show them what a real taco tastes like. And but then also, I don't know if I would do it here. Like maybe I would do it somewhere else where they would appreciate it more, you know, or something. So, but like one day for sure, I'm gonna own a taco shop.
I've never heard of that. Literally, I've never heard of that.
What?
Chopped and screwed?
Yeah, that. Yeah, and I think you said Screwmbia, right? Or no?
Screwmbia, yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Name for Screwmbia though, right? Did you coin the name of Screwmbia? Did you make that name?
Yeah, that's my genre. I'm trying to make it like a genre, like a thing over here. So I just keep doing like the what?
I've seen there's this one YouTube channel. They do like slowed or like chopped and screwed like corridos.
Oh wow!
I've seen it, but I'll send it over to you. It's fine. They do a lot of like the kind of like new generation corridos, like
like the trap corridos.
Yeah, like the trap corridos. Like they've been doing that and like slowing those down. I don't know if they have so much of the chop, but it's definitely like I'll send the YouTube channel over to you. I had found it like sometime last year, and I was like, "Yo, this is fire."
Oh damn! Yeah, I need to hear that.
Yeah, but I could imagine the guys from Texas, because there's always like a picture like Houston or something with like the purple and like a double cup.
Yeah.
No, we heavily appreciate your time, dude. Really.
I appreciate it.
For sure. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to see where y'all's series like progresses and like who y'all have on and stuff like that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I got your Spotify right here, so like right after this call, I'm gonna listen.